Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're talking about Anna Kepler case. This isn't the kind of case that calms down as it goes. It just keeps getting worse, it seems. Every new detail twists the narrative even further. The asphyxiation finding, the body being concealed under the bed, and the step-siblings' questions, the FBI silence, and now the heartbreaking reaction of Anna's biological mother. This is one of those cases where every update feels like lifting another corner of a curtain, and what's underneath is worse every single time. Let's get into it. So now we're learning about the asphyxiation, which is not an accident. This is the biggest shift in the case in the preliminary determination that Anna died from asphyxiation caused by a bar-style chokehold. This is a pressure hold. It's force. This is someone's arm tightening around the neck long enough to cut the oxygen or the air off. The detail alone takes the case out of the mysterious cruise death territory and into something far more intentional. Then we learn how Anna's body was found, and it's one of the most chilling parts of the entire story. She wasn't lying where she collapsed. She wasn't found discovered in the open. She was found under the bed, wrapped in a blanket and covered with vest. You don't have to be an investigator to understand what that means. People don't hide themselves after they die. People don't wrap themselves up and slide under the furniture. It's the kind of detail that screams, this wasn't an accident. It also matters to what the investigation didn't find. They didn't find any alcohol in Anna's system, no drugs, no evidence of SA. Anna wasn't intoxicated. She wasn't drugged. She wasn't incapacitated. She was fully aware, fully conscious. Multiple credible reports and court filings have narrowed in on 16-year-old step-sibling as the person of interest in the broader investigation. He's not been charged and not been officially accused, but consistently the one individual mentioned in connection with the incident. There are reports of a physical altercation, alcohol possibly being involved for the minor, the two being together shortly before she died. The step-siblings angle is one of the major threads in this investigation that we're following. The FBI has been quiet but intense on this investigation. People underestimate how much surveillance exists actually on a cruise ship. This isn't just a floating hotel, it's a floating casino with cameras absolutely everywhere. The FBI has been reviewing hallway footage, deck cameras, cabin keycard logs, movement timestamps, communication on board, electronic devices, crew statements, and they know the timeline and they know who entered the cabin. And they know who was the last person alone with Anna. One of the most heartbreaking developments came from Anna's biological mother, Heather Wright, and it adds an emotional layer to this case. Heather says she found out that her daughter was dead by Googling it. No phone call, no notification from the father, no alert from authorities, no communication from the cruise line. She searched the news because she was worried, and the article she saw was the announcement of Anna's death. That is how she learned her daughter was gone. Just trauma on top of already trauma. In an interview, Heather describes Anna as joyful, bright, and always smiley, lifting up others. She talked about how her daughter's love for cheerleading. Anna's mother spoke to News Nation about the reports how she was not allowed to attend her daughter's memorial service.
To let me know that my daughter died. I found out because I live in Oklahoma, and my youngest son goes to school with a good friend of mine's nephew, and he told her nephew that his sister was murdered on a cruise ship. So I got a text message saying, hey, is Anna on a cruise? And you need to find out right away and call me. And I was like, do what? So I called Anna's cell phone. She didn't answer. So then I got a hold of her on TikTok. Well, tried to get a hold of her on TikTok. She still didn't answer. So I started questioning, why is she asking me about that? So I got on my ex-husband's Facebook where there was nothing on there. So I got on to Cabby, his second wife's Facebook, as the woman that raised my daughter. And there I seen a picture of her car with flowers on it, and Cabby saying they were going to leave it at the high school for a short time as a memorial for Anna. And so that's when I Googled 18-year-old dies on cruise ship is what I put in the search bar, and that's when my daughter's face popped up all over Google.
I cannot even imagine. Yeah, I just, honest to God, I cannot even imagine finding out about your daughter's death by Googling and not getting a call. And to make matters worse, there was a celebration of life. I'm not sure if it was a full-fledged funeral, but there was some kind of memorial held yesterday. And I'm told that you were banned, that your ex-husband banned you from going. Can you walk me through what happened and what the circumstances were?
he told me that when I told him I was coming down there, he said that that he knew for a fact that Anna would not want me there. And I said, that's a lie. I was like, but whatever. And he goes, if you step foot in Florida, I will have you arrested immediately for back child support.
And so you went anyway, right?
Yeah.
In disguise?
Yeah, I wore a wig and I wore some really tall high heels, so that way, you know, if he was looking for somebody short, he wouldn't see me.
And were you able to attend the funeral? Did anyone see you or spot you? Like, tell me what happened next when you got there.
Nobody spotted me. I kind of stayed in the back, close to the door, so if I needed to make a quick getaway, I could. It was really nice. They had a lot of pictures of my daughter. I didn't see her dad, but then again, I wasn't trying to either. I stayed for a little bit, but I didn't stay for the whole thing. My anxiety got too high and I had to go.
And what? Tell me a little bit about the funeral. What was said about Anna at the funeral?
They just talked about how she was a great kid and she did really well in school. She wanted to join the military. She had a boating license before she was able to get her driver's license.
Do you know anything about the suspect in this case? And I say suspect not because police have said it. It's the 16-year-old stepbrother. Do you know anything about the stepbrother and the dynamic between Anna and him?
No, because I didn't even know that Tabitha and Christopher had gotten a divorce. I didn't even know he remarried. Like I said, Christopher and I do not talk whatsoever. And he made it extremely difficult for me to even have a relationship with my daughter. And the last time I seen my daughter, he again made me look like a piece of shit. So when I was getting on the airplane, I flipped him off and called him a few choice words I probably shouldn't have. And he told my daughter that I was telling her that. I was talking to her. So at that point, Anna kind of stopped talking to me. So
The New York Post is reporting Anna Kepler's brother heard yelling commotion in her crew's cabin while she was locked in alone with her stepbrother, is a report that the New York Post is reporting. Anna Kepler's younger brother reportedly heard, quote, yelling, end quote, and quote, chairs being thrown, end quote, inside her crew's stateroom the night before the 18-year-old Florida cheerleader was found deceased. Her devastated ex-boyfriend said, the apparent commotion went down as Kepner was in the locked cabin alone with the 16-year-old stepbrother, a, quote, suspect, end quote, in her unaliving. Joshua Weston told Inside Edition outside her Orlando, Florida funeral Thursday night. Weston said he learned of the apparent disturbance from speaking with Kepner's 14-year-old brother, who was on the Carnival Horizon voyage with the family. Quote, he heard the stepbrother yelling at her in a harmful way, like, quote, shut the hell up, end quote, and stuff like that. And that's when the brother knew there was something going on, Weston said, who affectionately called Kepner his, quote, first love, end quote. Kepner didn't feel safe around her stepbrother, her former beau also told the outlet. Weston also claimed in the past his ex had been sexually harassed by her step-sibling, but she kept quiet over fears for her safety. Quote, she was scared to tell anybody because she was scared that he would do something to her, quote, end quote, said Weston. Kepner was allegedly strangled in a bar hold and died from asphyxiation from the vicious move, in an arm crossed to the neck, and also 2 bruises on the side of her throat, a source close to the investigation told ABC News Friday. There was no apparent signs of SA, nor were there drugs or alcohol in her system, the insider said. The teen, lovingly named Anna Banana by her family, was found dead aboard the Carnival vessel on November 8th. Her lifeless body was stashed in the cabin bed, wrapped in a blanket and covered in a pile of Life Vest. While there is still no word on who carried out the grisly act, the FBI is allegedly zeroing in on Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother as a possible suspect in the slaying. According to the court papers filed by her stepmother, Chantel Hudson, Kepner's blended family had been on a 6-day Caribbean cruise on the Carnival Horizon while a maid made a horrifying discovery. The teen had reportedly been sharing a stateroom with the 14-year-old and the 16-year-old stepbrother, the latter a suspect when the tragedy unfolded. Although federal investigators have remained tight-lipped, the girl's ex-boyfriend claimed the suspect's stepbrother had a disturbing fixation with her, allegedly hounding her for a relationship and even once caught climbing on top of her while she slept. Quote, she was scared of him because he always carried around a big knife, quote, end quote. Joshua's father told Inside Edition Thursday, quote, he's like infatuated, attracted to her like crazy. He always wanted to date her, he says. Kepner's ex tried to warn the girl's parents, but they apparently didn't believe the concerned teen. The devoted Christian was baptized in May and was set to graduate in the spring from Temple Christian School in Titusville, Florida. She was planning to join the U.S. Navy after graduation and eventually become a canine police officer. An obituary written by the loved ones described the teen as a girl who, quote, loved the sun, the water, the boat days, island days, beach days, and anything that let her soak in the light she so easily radiated. Quote, she never had a filter. She never had a filter, and that was part of her charm, they heartbreakingly recalled. She had a big, beautiful heart, often sent random I love you messages or little gestures that made someone's day. Kepner's funeral was Thursday, but family drama took center stage with her mother reportedly barred from attending due to long-standing family tensions, but sported a wig and snuck in anyway. What is your guys' thoughts on them barring Anna's mother? In my opinion, this is the time where, you should just let anyone come. This is her daughter, no matter what she did or may have not done in the past. Everyone deserves to get to say goodbye, in my opinion, at least. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We're going to continue to follow all of this. Such a heartbreaking story, and it's very bizarre for a 16-year-old stepbrother seemingly to be fascinated by Anna. Let me know what you think. Have you ever had a step sibling that was fascinated by you in a creepy way? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this story. I'll read every single one of them and reply. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll see you guys later. God bless.